Good. Just one. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, listen, project you have to do for this year from economics, one project is there. And so I've made some 5 groups, 5 groups I have made. So in one group, one group 4 are there, one group 5 are there. So I have not mixed your commerce and the humanities, that I have not mixed. According to your class only, I have done the division here. So it's just write it down, those who are in one group, okay? Aditya, Anila, Anjo, Atul. They are in one group. Just write it down. Write it down. Aditya, please write down all the names. Aditya, Anila, Anjo, Atul. Done? Aditya, can you hear me?
Yes,
Have you written?
ma'am.
Have you written?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next group. Aparna, right? Aparna, Basil, Irfan, Hanna, Hadiaman. So in your group, 5 are there, right? Aparna,
Yes, ma'am.
Basil, Irfan, Hanna, Adi. Okay, next Karthik. Write it down. Karthik, Femina, Pavitra, Shubham. Aishwarya, right? Aishwarya, Amal, Amalraj, Sneha. Aishwarya, Amal, Amalraj, Sneha. Okay, next Grishma.
Yes, ma'am.
Write it down. Grishma, Elvina, Ashish.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, there is a topic, dynamics of GST, or Goods and Services Tax Act, and its impact on GDP. Okay, just listen. Okay, it's just 1 minute. Okay, just I'm writing. One is GST. It is about GST. Another one, demonetization. Oh, I've not shared, right? Just 1 minute. Yeah. Third, okay, these 5 topics I have just selected. Now, some are there which, if you feel, which is which you people can do. Okay. A little bit easy ones it is. This one, okay. Another one more what you have studied, that is disinvestment. Policy of government. So what do you feel? Uh, shall we go with these or something from the other topic do you want? Hmm? Anyone can speak up. This is another topic. Karthik, what do you feel? Is it okay? What I want, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or anything from other you want to take up?
Ma'am, 1 5 is okay, ma'am.
This 5 is okay. Okay. And what about Aparna? No problem.
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
Okay. And don't you feel that this role of RBI or in control of credit, digital India, vertical farming, MSP, HDI, disinvestment policy of government, what do you feel? And out of this, anything is easy for you? No, so many topics are there. That's why I'm asking. See, for 5 topics, I have a copy. For 5 topics, I have a copy. The remaining, I don't have. This topic, I don't have. I have one more topic with me that I'll send it to you otherwise. Okay. Then shall I assign one topic to one person, one group? Which anybody, just tell leaders. Leaders in the sense the first person whom I called. If you have any suggestion, please tell. Aditya, any suggestion? Hmm? No.
No, ma'am.
Aparna? No.
No, ma'am.
Karthik, if you have anything, now I'm not deciding. I will be telling you. If you want to change, you can put a message. Okay, Aishwarya,
Ma'am, I think we can also include Digital India because
Digital India is more prominent now that you can include, I feel. Okay, that is also a lot of information you will be getting from net. So I feel this rainwater harvesting we can remove, right? This one is better. Digital India. Yes. So I'll be putting that. Then these GST demonetization self-help group livestock, I have a copy with me. So I'll just send it to the leaders. You just go through it and decide how it is. Digital India, let me try whether I'm getting one or not. Okay, let me see. Aishwarya, then Grishma,
Yes, ma'am.
any other topic which you feel you can or you don't want anything from this? What do you feel?
Ma'am, what about role of RBI?
That is also correct. You will get lot of information. Okay, so I will give then these topics to you people only. Okay, Aishwarya, your group can do Digital India.
okay, ma'am.
Okay, just write down the topic. Rishma, role of RBI.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then GST. Karthik. Then Aparna, demonetization. Aditya, 2 are remaining. Which one you want? Hmm? Self-help group. Okay, self-help group. Okay, yeah, I'll be sending that they have done as they have made a questionnaire also from that, and like that they have done. Okay, so I can send this and you just decide how it is. So to leaders, I'll be sending the topic, but not the Digital India and role of RBI. Okay, I will try whether I'm getting or not. Otherwise, I will tell you what all things to do, or I will show a sample how they have done, how the topics they have given, like introduction, abstract, like that, and all they have given, so that I can send it to you. Okay. Okay, then one more thing. Term 1, term 2, there are some differences in the chapters. What we have taught, that is not there in one of the, I mean, term 1. 2 chapters are not there. Okay, so let me tell you what is that. So I'm not taking that chapter now. Instead of that, I'll be continuing with this, and I will take the other chapter. Just you can see the macroeconomics. We have 3 chapters in the term 1. One is money and banking, government budget and the economy, and balance of payments. So we have taken only one chapter from term 1. Okay, so money and banking, government budget and the economy, balance of payments. These are the 3 chapters from macro. Then part B from Indian economy, what all we have, that is Indian economy on the eve of independence. This is continuation they have given. Indian economy on the eve of independence, Indian economy from 1950 to 90, Indian economy since 1991, poverty, then human capital formation, rural development. These 2 chapters are remaining. So human capital formation I'll be taking now. Okay, national accounting and determination of income and employment is in the second term. The 2 chapters only are there in the second term from macro. That is, we almost finished. A little more is there. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 chapters you have in the first for the first term. 9 chapters in the sense, don't worry about that. 3 from macro and the other 6 from part B. And chapters are very less for the term 2. Okay. Okay, now we are going to start a new chapter, that is human capital formation. Have you heard about this term, human capital formation? Yes? Answer me fast. Have you heard about human capital formation? You have studied, I think, this in the 9th standard, human capital. Yes or no? You might have studied people as a resource. In that chapter, you are learning about human capital. Okay, when we call a person as a human capital, when do we call a human being as a human capital? All human beings we are not calling as human capital. What do you mean by that? Or when do we call human beings as human capital? Anyone?
Laborers.
Laborers. Okay, but something laborers. No.
When the people are able to provide some resources that they have to the betterment of the economy.
Okay, when the people are having
When they're educated.
okay, when they are educated or when they are healthy, you might have studied that there are some important points that adds value to the people. Okay, so 2 main things that add value to the people, that is one, it should be the person should be an educated one, the person should be a healthy one. There are various reasons why we say this. When we are adding this education and health, healthy that factors or attributes, then we can see that a person is a more qualified one, or if a person is more educated, you compare that person with the person who doesn't have much skill or education, then if when we are comparing, we say that the less educated person is not much adding to the economic development. So a more educated person, more healthy person will be adding more to the economic development. Okay, so then we can say that particular person is a human capital. Now, first we are talking about how will be an educated person, or what are the features of an educated person. So if you see an educated person, he will be always more skilled. Okay, and more skilled in the sense he might have got some training in the work what he is doing, so he is more skilled in that particular area. Another one, he generates more income than an illiterate person. If you see in the labor market, or in the area where the people are working, if you see, the educated people are able to earn more than an illiterate person. You think of a manual work done by a person in an office, or a person who is qualified, educated, how much he is earning. So there is a difference in that. So always we can say that education will be helpful in generating more and more income. Next one, it contributes to economic growth. In the sense, an educated person always contributes to economic growth. How he will be able to contribute to economic growth? Can anyone think of that? How he is able to contribute to economic growth? Hmm? Yes. How is it possible?
Only an educated or skilled person will be able to get better jobs. That
Okay, get better
is
jobs. So if income is added, that is gone to the, that is always a country's income. Okay, that is one thing. Any other? He will be better in contributing or in the production of output than an illiterate person. So you can see, that they are more producing, they are more productive than an illiterate person. This will be helpful in contributing to the economic development. Okay, so here these are the important things related to a person who is educated. Okay, now education gives. Now what are the features? If a person is an educated one, what are the features they have given? It gives a better social standing and understanding and pride. Okay, it is just 1 minute. It gives a one better social understanding, social stand, in the sense with pride he can stand in the society. Another one, it helps to make better choices in life. You always might have seen that an educated person always try to think that which one is a better choice for that particular person, or which one will give him more income, or how he can be beneficial in, or how he can earn more income and support his family and have a proper or developed life. These kind of choices can be made by all can make the choices, but this educated person, we say that he can choose in a better manner than an illiterate person. Another one, education provides knowledge to understand what all changes are taking place in the society. Education always stimulates innovation. Education leads to innovation. So this is related to one more point what they have given. Educated labor force, how they always will be adapted to the technology, new technology. What do you mean by adapted? What is adapted here? Adapted to new technology means what?
they are more skilled in handling new technologies.
Yeah, they are more skilled, or they don't have any problem in doing the new technology, or they don't find it difficult, and they are happy to do the changes what is happening in their work area, or any technology what they face here. Okay, so these are the important points related to the educated person. Next one, what do you mean by human capital? Okay, human capital is the stock of skill and expertise of a nation. Just 1 minute. Yes. stock of skill and expertise of a nation at a point of time. So it is a sum total of total skill and expertise you can see with the people. So what do you mean by human capital? Neha, can you tell? What is human capital?
It refers to the stock of skill and expertise of a nation.
Okay. Next one. It is a process of adding to the stock of human capital over time. Human capital, I told that human capital is considered as a factor of production. Okay, they are very much important in the process of production. So what happens as the skill increases, the production will also be increased, or the technology will be increased. All these will be helpful for increasing the economic development, or will be helpful in developing the economy. So that is what we say that, what do you mean by human capital formation? It is a process of adding of the stock of human capital over time. Now, physical capital, you know, what do you mean by physical capital? It is a stock of produced means of production. Produced means of production in the sense, you know, that when as a factor of production, have you studied about factors of production? Yes, right? What are the factors of production? Yes,
Labor, capital, enterprise.
land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, right? Entrepreneur, right? So here, in this physical capital also, you know that there are different types of capital. Here in terms, instead of entrepreneurship, we are talking human capital. Okay. And physical capital, in the sense, there also two types of capital you might have studied. One is fixed capital and working capital. So here mainly what we are talking about physical capital, whatever capital is there in an industry to be used for the further production, or to be used in further production, those capital we call it as physical capital. It consists, examples we have given, that is machines, tools, buildings, production plants, all these come under physical capital. Okay, so this is what do you mean by human capital? It is a stock of skill and expertise of a nation at a point of time. It's full of human capital, means it is full of skill and expertise. And human capital formation, always you can see that it goes on increasing with education and health facilities. What do you mean by physical capital? It refers to the stock of production, produced means of production. What all examples are coming? It is machines, production plants, etc. Now, sources of human capital formation, or it has got one more name, that is determinants of human capital. Just one. Determinants of human capital. Just write it down, this also. Sources of human capital formation, it is also known as determinants of human capital. Determinants in the sense, what all will be helpful in adding the human capital formation. Now, the first one, expenditure on education. Okay. Now, investment on education is one of the important factor that adds the human capital formation. Okay, because as we spend more and more money on education in the sense, we are spending money, at the same time, the people should utilize it. I mean, the people should be educated with that investment. Okay, so investment, as we increase the investment on education, or as the people are becoming more and more educated, the human capital formation will be very high. Okay, you know that our parents, they are ready to spend money on our education, yes or no? Why do they spend money on education, on your education? Why do they spend? They are simply spending.
Future investment.
It is what is it? Future investment. Okay, it's a type of investment only. So why, in the sense, it is an investment so that you can earn after years. That is what you are telling. It is somewhat same. We can say that like how we invest
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
physical capital, how we invest on the physical capital, like when we start an industry, you know that we have to buy machines, buildings, and all those things. In the sense, we have to construct buildings like that. So when we spend money on that, we expect profit after some years. Same way, we can say that investment, people are investing, especially parents, they spend a lot of money on education, thinking that after some years you will be getting a job and you can earn a proper income and can live your life in a proper manner. So this is what the parents are expecting. So it's a sort of investment, what you said, okay, investment for future. So after spending for maybe 20 years or 25 years, you will be getting a job and you are able to earn income. So this will be helpful for you to become more developed, or this will be helpful in adding human capital formation. Okay, so first point, what are the sources of human capital formation? That is expenditure on education. Many of, like it's not that we want to, or always you might have seen that some parents, they are sending their children abroad also for education. So why they want their children to be studied in abroad? Maybe they feel that their skill will be more developed and they can be more valuable in adding the growth of the economy. Okay, expenditure on health, in the sense, the same way, if think of a person who is healthy and think of a person who is a sick person. Okay, so when they start working, what will happen? The sick person, sometimes they may take leave, or they are not able to go for the employment every day. So what will be the situation? What will happen if the person is not going properly to an industry or for properly to a work? What is the result of it? He is not able to, he will not be able to earn income. At the same time, what will happen to the other side? Hmm? If he is taking leave often, what will happen? Yes. Or you don't think of a big industry or anything. You think of a small production unit, like where we are making any bakery item. So often one person is absent, I mean, taking leave. So what will happen? Karthik, can you tell?
He would lose a job.
He will lose a job. Rather than that, what will happen to the production?
It would be less.
It will be less. So what will happen? The production activity is becoming less. Then if production is becoming less, that will affect the growth of our economy. So in general, if you see all the people, they are sick and not healthy, their contribution to the production will be less. If the production is less, the economic development also will be less here. So this is what, when we compare a healthy person or a sick person, and at the same time, maybe he will be very slow in his work, or not able to work properly like a healthy person. So expenditure on health or health facilities are very important in the formation of human capital. So this is another one important source of human capital formation. What is that? Expenditure on health here. Okay. Another one, and few important points they have given related to the health. See, there are some preventive medicines, like vaccinations are there. Why do we take vaccination? For what purpose we are taking vaccination?
Prevent the occurrence of a disease.
Yeah, when they should not suffer from a disease. You know that as soon as a newborn baby is born, you can see the child is taken within this many days. The child is taken to the hospital, and some injections and all they are giving. Okay, so thinking that they should not get what you say TB, or they should not get many different types of diseases. We are taking vaccination. Okay, so it should not get, so that our people should be, our future citizens should be a healthy one. That is one. Preventive medicines are there. Then there are some medicines, curative medicines. Curative medicines in the sense there are various diseases you can see, for that we have to take medicine, then only it will be cured. Okay, or there are some we can say anything nowadays. If anything, if you take any disease, we have to take some medicine, then it will be cured. Like that kind of medicines are there. Another one you can see, social medicine. Social medicine in the sense they are talking about the spreading of awareness in the society about health literacy. Okay, that is what you mean by social medicine. So like that, especially you know that the need for proper sanitation, the need of clean drinking water, all these are very important to be a healthy person. You know that if you are not drinking clean water, what will happen to us? Or if you don't have a proper sanitation facilities, that is also a great problem. It will create diseases in the society. So health literacy should be there in the society. So these are all areas you can see where we are spending on money on health. Okay, at the same time, health expenditure, if you see, it is a lot of health facilities are to be given to the people. You know that that is why in our country education, then health facilities are given freely to the people. Freely to the people in the sense not all are utilizing that facility. You know that government hospitals are there where they treat freely the people. It's not that it's not that only poor people can go there, anyone can go there. So government is providing a facility that you can go and get your disease cured. That is one thing. Another one, education also. You know that in our country there is a compulsory education till the year of 14. And now what? But who is utilizing that? That depends upon the wish of the people to go to that particular institution. So like that, a lot of facilities are provided. Why the government is doing all these, providing all these facilities? To add the human capital, or to that, because this will in turn will be helpful for the economy only. As we have more educated people, as we have more healthy people, this will be increasing the economic growth of our economy. Next one, on job training. This is mainly after getting job. You might have seen that the people are given some training there. Okay, or sometimes they will be given the training there itself in the company itself. Sometimes they will send these people outside, maybe to some camp or something like that will be arranged, and people will be sent there and they will be getting some training. Okay, now after training, you might have heard that the company, or whenever you get a job, there will be a training, and they will tell you that you have to work there for 1 year or 2 years, like that. Have you heard about like this? No. Have you heard like this? Whenever you join a company, do you think that you can join and come out very easily? Hmm? Yes or no? Sneha, what do you feel? Have you heard joining any company and easily you can come out, or what?
No, ma'am.
No. Why is it, why we can't come out like that easily? Why can't we resign and go?
There will be this agreement like the person should work for minimum this much
This
time.
many. Okay. So there is a reason for that, why they make it compulsory. Or sometimes you might have heard that you know, Wipro and all, you might have heard, they are conducting campus interviews, maybe after degree and all. And in that interview, what they do, they make it, they tell that they will give you education, at the same time they will make you to work also. So from some 5 years or something like that, we have to study there, and at the same time you have to work also. Now they make it compulsory. After that, they make it compulsory that 1 year you have to work. Now, why they keep this provision? And whatever education is given, it is given freely. You are not paying anything for that education. Okay. At the same time, because you're working, they will be giving you some payment also. So here they are not they will not allow you to leave the job as soon as you complete the education. What they will do, they will tell you to stay there 1 or 2 years more. Okay. Now why they do? Because they have given you training under a skilled person, and you have to work, and that skill, whatever you have gained, that should be useful for the company. So for that purpose, they will tell you to work there maybe for 1 year or 2 year, like that. That is why they make it compulsory like that. Okay, that is one thing. Then I told that maybe two types of trainings we have. One is on the job training. When we say company itself, there will be skilled workers, they will be giving some training. Another one is what? They will be sent to other area where they, in the sense for the camps and all, where they are working. In that area, they will be going and getting training. So these are the two types of training they get. One within the company itself, otherwise they'll be sending to other campus and get the training. Another one is migration. Now listen, what do you mean by migration? Tarath, what is migration?
Moving to another place.
Moving to another place. Why do we migrate from one place to another?
Jobs.
Maybe for getting jobs. Okay. Now, what do you feel that when you're, especially you think, not within the country I'm talking, you think that people, they wanted to migrate to US or sometimes Australia, New Zealand. Do you think that it is very easy to go, or it is very cheaper to shift from one place to another? What do you
No.
feel? No, it's very costly actually. You have to show a lot of or a lot of formalities are there for that. But even then, people go there. Why?
More salary.
Yeah, people feel that even you spent this much amount of money, after reaching there, if you get a job, that cost is that this whatever you spent, you can get from that. At the same time, you will be able to earn much more income than what you are getting here. So that is what cost of migration is very high. But even then, people, they prefer to go to that other areas because they feel that whatever cost is there, that can be reduced after reaching there from the income what they generate. At the same time, you might have seen that rural urban migration also is there. Why these people migrate from there, from rural to urban areas? The same reason, that is to get the jobs. Now in India's case, you know that we have lot of technically qualified people, right? And what do you feel, that all are having job here in our country?
No.
No, many, you might have heard that India is full of engineers, right? This term is very much relevant nowadays, because many of the students, they go for engineering, and after that, technically they are qualified, but they are not getting jobs. So many of them, they move out to other countries, or they migrate to other countries, expecting a good income from other countries. Okay, so that is the one reason many qualified people are there. So when they are not getting enough salary, or when they are not able to earn much salary, they may shift to other countries, even though the cost is very high. Okay. Another one, how I told that their earnings are too high there, so that they can manage whatever they spent before. Okay. Another one is expenditure on information. Expenditure on information, in the sense, they wanted to know about what is the current situation related to various types of jobs, various types of institutions, various types of education, on, or whether which education can provide a better living than the what we are seeing normal. These kind of informations are very much important nowadays. So for that also, people may spend money. And when you spend money to get these kind of informations, there is a chance that you may get a proper maybe education or proper jobs like that you will be getting. So some amount of money we will be spending on information about the overall situation, especially which country is better than in getting income, these kind of information. Sometimes it's not that we'll be getting everything from the site also. You know that there are some agencies who work for this. They provide information or they arrange some sort of traveling from this place to another place for education. So for that also we have to spend income. So this also will be adding the quality of the human beings. So because of that reason, we have taken expenditure on information also as determinant of human capital. So here, especially this expenditure we are spending on mainly to know about the labor market, what is the present situation of the market, or if we want producing, if we are producing this particular item, then whether I'll be able to earn profit or not. So these are the few points related to the determinants of human capital or sources of human capital. Okay, Amal, can you tell what are the important sources of human capital formation? Yes, Amal.
These are on education
Hmm.
and migration
Expenditure on migration. Okay.
and expenditure on health
Expenditure on health.
and expenditure on information.
Expenditure on information.
And on
Okay.
the job,
One more is there. On the job training. Okay. What do you mean by on job training? Anjo, can you tell? What do you mean by on job training? Anjo,
Working in a company without
working in a company? There is one more point. If you want, you can add, that is study programs for adults. What is this study programs for adults? Have you heard about this? Spending money on study programs for adults. Have you heard about it? Aparna, have you heard about this study programs for adults?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that actually?
Ma'am, actually for the education, many for a quality education, many programs is being created.
Sometimes you might have heard that adults are given education, maybe after their job or in the evening time and all, they will be given education. So this is also a spending I mean, all these are doing for actually for increasing the human capital formation. So this point is not given in your textbook. If you want, you can just mention this point, study programs for adults, that also will be helpful in adding the human capital formation. Okay. Now let me take the attendance. Okay. 59. Aditya,
Present, ma'am.
Anila,
Present, ma'am.
Anjo,
Present, ma'am.
Aparna, Atul Krishna,
Present, ma'am.
Basil,
Present, ma'am.
Femina,
Present,
Hanna,
ma'am.
Karthik, Irfan,
Present, ma'am.
Pavitra,
Present, ma'am.
Sharath, Shubham,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hadi, Hadi's leader, please inform him about, please inform him, okay? Aishwarya,
Present, ma'am.
Amal,
Yes, ma'am.
Amal absent, right? Amal Raj,
Yes, ma'am.
Ashish,
Yes, ma'am.
Elvina,
Present, ma'am.
Grishma,
Present, ma'am.
Sneha. See, whoever is absent, please inform them regarding this. I'll send the leaders do one thing. Just put a message to me regarding the seminar. Okay, that you want the. Okay, you want the copy. Whatever copy I have, I'll just send it to everyone. I will be sending. You just see how they have done the project. Okay. Thank you then. Bye all.